Mixed traffic mix-up. It was tough times on the island of Sodor. The harsh spring rain made work much harder for the engine and caused many accidents, as poor Henry soon found out. He had crashed into some rubble mixed with mud in the mudslide and was needed for repairs. However, the parts needed were delayed due to the weather, so the Fat Controller went to the sheds to find a solution. As you all know, Henry is at the works getting mended. However, due to the weather, the parts needed for him are, well, taking much longer than needed to arrive. The engines looked worried. It won't take too long, sir, right? Percy asked. No, it won't. However, because it's going to be taking a little longer than I wanted to, I need an engine to take care of Henry's jobs. Gordon groaned. Hui, sir, why can't we get another engine to do his job? We already have enough. I agree, added in James. I got enough passengers and goods trains because I'm a mixed traffic engine. Sir Tom Hatt pondered for a moment. Perhaps I can find another engine on the mainland, but it would have to be a diesel, and, well, I don't know how you'll think of that. Oh, please do, sir, replied James. I don't care if it's a slimy diesel. I can't imagine the extra work on my wheels if it doesn't come. That is settled then, Sir Tom had replied. I'll go to Vickerstown to get another engine, and he drove away in Winston. The engines looked at James. I hope you made the right choice, Thomas said to James. I don't want to deal with a gritty diesel if he turns out bad. Oh, I'm sure I made the right choice, replied James. Any diesel is better than an extra goods train, and with that, he slunk back into the shed to sleep. The next morning, James went to Tidmouth Station so he can get his next passenger train. The yard was an absolute mess. Gordon was there waiting for his coaches when James saddled up next to him. What happened here? He asked. What's with the whole mess in the yard? Oh, I don't know, said Gordon, but apparently the new diesel engine has gone here late. Ugh. He's like Derek all over again. What, did his engine overheat? From what I heard, he had to get repaired before he came over here, said Edward. But I don't know why he's late. He probably got lost trying to get to here, said Gordon. Oh, silly diesels. They're not silly, said Edward. Who knows, maybe this diesel will be nice and stay here afterwards, like Boko, Bear, Daisy, other diesel engines too. Suddenly, there was a huge honk on the horn that cut their conversation short. Was that? Asked James. I think it was, said Gordon. Oh, the indignity. Don't tell me it's him. And unfortunately, Gordon was right. It was D199, known to the engines as Spam Can. Well, looks like I have to be back on this rotten island, he said to no one in particular. He then eyed the three engines. Well, I remember you three. Not so much you, Edward. I didn't really talk much to an old iron like you. James leashed steam at him loudly, hissing. What are you doing here, he said. You shouldn't be here. You were banished from this place long ago. Just go back to your old British railways like this filthy diesel you are. Ah, so you haven't heard the news, have you? Spamcan said oily. You see, because your, super rescue engine decided to, hit the mud, I have been called here to help you all. James and Gordon were horrified. But there is no but, Spamkin said. From what I heard, you said any diesel would do. And he laughed evilly, shunting some trucks and boiling away with them. James and Gordon were horrified at this. This is your fault, Gordon said to James. You told the Fat Controller to get a diesel, and look what you've done. You've brought this diesel back on our island. Calm down, you two, said Edward. I understand we've had some, grievances with this diesel in our past, but we should at least give him a chance. Who knows? Maybe he's here to redeem himself. Are you kidding? Said James. He called you old iron. He's not here to help. He's here to be horrid as always. What I mean is, continued Edward, don't just attack him right now. Give it some time, and the Fat Controller will make sure if he does anything bad that he will be sent away. We don't need to cause any accidents on this diesel. And Edward rolled away with his goods train. The next couple of days were awful for the engines. Spamkin was just as rude as he used to be when he first went on the island. He rode roughly as he pulled his trains along the line, and usually biffed and bashed the trucks, and they didn't like it very much. The passengers started complaining too. The only thing they could hear across the line was the noisy engine that his, engine was making. And even the coaches were complaining about how much he was, quote-unquote, boasting to everyone of how revolutionary he was compared to the other engines, almost like another CERN diesel engine that used to be on the island. Things got so bad that the Fat Controller had to step in and take him out of passenger duty. "Listen here, Spamkin," he said one night. "The passengers keep complaining about you, the engines keep complaining about you, even the rolling stock keep complaining about you. And the trucks too, but that's just normal. Listen, I understand that your engine might be making a lot of trouble and we have to get that fixed. But your attitude is something that can be fixed now without a fitter or an engineer to your help. I will be putting you off passenger duty and you will be going with the goods train. Good day and good night. And you better change your attitude or else I'm sending you back to the other railway." "Yes, sir," said Spamkin as the Fat Controller rolled away. The next couple of days, when he took the goods trains, the other engines made fun of him. "Oh, I wonder who's going to be taking the express," said Gordon. "Well, certainly not Spamkin," laughed James. Spamkin cursed under his breath as he took the goods trains. Although he didn't like taking goods train, he at least had the nice, peaceful countryside to go around it. He then started forming a plan. If I pretend to be nice, and the Fat Controller gains my trust again, I can show him that these no-goody steam scrap irons are not as good as us revolutionary diesels. Yes, I'll start today." And so he did. For the next couple of days, Spamkin was unusually nice to the engines, or quiet, and usually gave a tootful hello the horn. The engines were all shocked at this. "He's been surprisingly nice," said Gordon. "Too nice," said James. "That's not like Spamkin." "Perhaps he's changed for the better," said Duck. "I don't know about that," said Toby. "As much as I want this diesel to be, friendly, it seems like he's trying to pull something underneath our cow catchers." "Toby," said Gordon, "only you have cow catchers." "Oh, right. Buffers then, whatever you want." Although some of the engines suspected something, the Fat Controller saw it as a great improvement to Spamkin. "You've done wonders," he said to him. "All of your goods trains have been on time, and I've heard no complaints from anyone whatsoever. I don't know what happened that last night, or a few nights ago, but I must say it's a huge improvement, Spamkin." "It is with great pleasure to be on this island, sir," Spamkin replied. "If I must ask, how much longer will I be taking goods trains?" "Until your engine is fixed, which will be in about a month. So don't worry, it won't be too long." And he drove away again. "Well then, time to execute part 2 in my plan, then." The next day, Spamkin woke up early to go to the big station. He found Thomas there, shunting some of the trains, getting them ready for the other engines. "Thomas," he said. "Oh, hello, Spamkin. Are you ready to get your goods train?" Yes, about that," he went on. "You see, the Fat Controller and I had a talk yesterday." "Oh, yes, I heard about it," said Thomas. I saw the Fat Controller went to your shed. Why do you mention that? You see, he continued, the Fat Controller wants me to take the Express today. The Express? Asked Thomas. But I thought you were on goods train. Yes, I was, continued Spamcan. But you see, because I've been doing such a good job lately, I've been moved to the Express, while Gordon will be taking the normal passenger train. I see, said Thomas. But James was supposed to take the express today. Oh, well then, stuttered Spamkin. James will have to take my goods train then. Are you sure about this? Asked Thomas. Of course, continued Spamkin. Fat Controller's orders. You wouldn't want to disappoint him, would you? No, certainly not, said Thomas. I'll get your express ready. I already finished James, yours, but now it's James. I already finished his train. I'll get your express. Splendid, said Spamkin. Thomas, puzzled, went back to get the express coaches. Once Thomas had given Spamcam the express coaches, Spamcam left early with the express, and a couple minutes later, James came in, snorting as usual. Hello, Thomas, he said. Now please, where are my express coaches? I thought you put them out already. I already did, said Thomas, and he explained what Spamcam had told him. And, he went on, here's your trucks. James was furious. Trucks? But, Fat Controller's orders, said Thomas as he puffed away. You wouldn't want to upset it. James let out a wheesh of steam and sighed. I have to deal with these stupid things again. And he sadly puffed away to get to his trucks. He then coupled up behind them, and with the toot of a whistle, he then set on his way. A couple minutes later, when James was long out of sight, Oliver came rushing in with a worried expression on his face. He then saw Thomas and went to him. Thomas, he cried, where's Sir Tom Hat? I need to speak with him now. Oh, I'm sorry, Oliver, Thomas said, but he's all the way at Vickerstown today. What do you need him for? It's about Spamcan, he said. I'm afraid there's an issue with him. What's the issue? Thomas asked. I just saw him taking the express. The express? Cried Oliver. Oh no, his plan is already in action. What plan? Asked Thomas. What are you talking about? If I might add, asked Toad from behind, Mr. Oliver is trying to tell you that Spamcan started a plan. A plan? Asked Thomas. And what is that plan? The plan is that, well, he went to the trucks that he was supposed to take and told them the steam engine to take them, to push them down the hill. Gordon's Hill, to be exact, Mr. Thomas. Thomas' eyes widened. What? He cried. But James just took the train. Then you better get Harvey in the breakdown train, because I'm afraid it might be too late by then, said Oliver. Don't worry, Mr. Thomas, said Toad. If Spamcan's taking the express all the way to Vickerstown, that means the Fat Controller will see everything happening. Right. Looks like Spamcan didn't realize that part of the plan. Alright, I'll get Harvey, breakdown train. Are you gonna help too? Asked Thomas. I'm afraid I can't. I have to take a goods train with Toad. But I came here to warn you, or to get Sir Tom Hat. Good luck, Thomas. And Oliver puffed away worried. And Thomas puffed away worried too, to find Harvey. Meanwhile, Spamkin was having a splendid time pulling the express. What a good plan I had, what a good plan I had, he would say. I can't wait for that silly Steamies to get scrapped. Good thing my driver is stupid, or else his plan would have worked at all. And he was right. His driver had no idea that they weren't even supposed to be taking the express, nor did the passengers. And his engine wasn't growling at all, so they weren't complaining either. The coaches, although Spamcan was boasting a bit, they didn't really care at this point. They were just used to it. He had gone by so smoothly and fast that he was already almost at Crowland's gate, bypassing Gordon's Hill very easily, to the passengers' delight. He passed by some of the stations before coming to a stop. I wonder how James is doing. James was having a wonderful time rolling up and down the line at a steady pace, but was gradually getting faster and faster as he found it easier to pull the trucks. He sped through Henry's Tunnel and Crosby Tunnel, and soon made his way to Henry's Forest. He was then nearing Wellsworth Station when his driver started to pick up speed. "Let's give it a good run, James," he said. "We gotta get up Gordon's Hill." They then reached Gordon's Hill, and James tried to put his all into it. But then, James soon found out that it was being more troublesome than ever. The trucks had put on their brakes, and his wheels were slipping. "Come on, you filthy trucks," James shouted. "Get off your brakes." "Well, if you insist," the trucks yelled, and they did put off their brakes. But James didn't realize that this was only the beginning of the end. When the trucks took off their brakes, James shot forward. "Now that's more like it," he said. But then they started to go downhill. On, yelled the trucks. "No, stop," James yelled. But it was too late. The weight of the trucks pushed him down the hill at dangerous speeds. James was now in trouble. He sped across the line, going at dangerous speeds, past wildlife and other engines as too. He passed over tunnels and bridges, whistling frantically as he wanted to stop. His driver tried to apply the brakes, but they were no use. The brakes were useless against the power of the trucks pushing him. James sped by more and more engines, and their drivers were smart enough to go to the nearest telephone to call the signalman. "There's a runaway," one of the drivers said. "We'll have to send him to the siding." And the signalman did it, but not in time. James' train sped past the point before the signalman can put him to the siding. "Shoot!" he yelled. "Just missed him. I'll have to warn the next one." James was soon nearing the next signal box, and the signalman soon got the call. "Alright, I'll have to send him to the shoot!" And he just saw James whiz by him with the signals not changed at all. This stupid engine's going too fast. He'll get off at the dangerous bend up ahead." Signalman was right. The dangerous, difficult bend was up ahead, and James knew this. "Oh no, I'm gonna come off the rails," he winced. And he did. He flew right off the rails, straight into the dirt, getting himself all muddy and broken while the trucks chanted behind him. Luckily, James' driver and fireman were able to jump off before the impact, but James lay in the ground, and soon his driver and fireman had to run back for help. Meanwhile, Spamkin was at Crowland's gate just getting some more passengers when the Fat Controller and Winston appeared. "Spamkin, what are you doing?" Spamkin stuttered. I just taking the express. Yeah, it's because, you see, James had to take trucks, and Gordon had to. "Spamkin, you know exactly what you're doing. James has had an accident with your trucks, and you're taking the express when you're not supposed to. Do you have any ideas how much wrong you've just caused?" But sir, it wasn't my fault. James wanted to. Stafford's driver told me he heard Oliver's conversation with Thomas while Stafford was getting recharged. And I do not need an excuse from this rotten behavior. I thought you had changed to be a better engine, but I can clearly see that is not the case. Listen here and listen now. You are no longer allowed on my railway ever again. You will go back to the mainland and stay there. Do I make myself clear? Yes, sir. Good. Now take your passengers to Vickerstown and never come back again. I have a mess to sort out because of you. And Sir Tom had rode away in Winston. After a while, the Fat Controller then met up to where Thomas and Harvey were with the breakdown train, while James was being lifted up and onto a flatbed that Hero would be pulling to the steamworks. The Fat Controller then went over to them and went to talk to James. I'm sorry about what had happened to you. I made sure that Spamcan got taught his lesson, and he will not be returning here. I again apologize for the inconvenience that he has caused. Thank you, sir, James sighed. And I have to go to the steamworks now, and all my bright red paint is all muddied and messed up now. Well, look at the bright side, James, smiled Thomas. At least you'll get a new coat of paint at the steamworks. Yeah, I guess that is true, James said, and he actually smiled a little bit. Soon, James was lifted onto the flatbed and pulled away by Hero, while Harvey went away with Rocky. Thomas and the Fat Controller went both away. We're terribly sorry we asked for that diesel to come back, Thomas said. It's not your fault, the Fat Controller replied. I should have gone a different diesel or another engine. But then again, the only other option was... Was what, sir? Asked Thomas. Class 40. But both options are bad. I do agree with that, chuckled Thomas. And both went away to Tidmouth Sheds.